Well, guys, we had a press conference and it was interesting to say the least, and we're here to break it all down. Welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast special episode where we are going to talk about the Buffalo Bills as a whole, the organization, and where do we go from here after listening to our owner and our new president of football operations lecture us for about an hour yesterday. So, how we feeling, fellas?
That was awkward.
It was very difficult. They should never talk again.
Yeah,
Hire a representative to speak for you. Like seriously, you got enough money, you can do that. I don't want to hear your voice again ever.
you could tell why Terry put Kim in front of being the one to talk to the camera for when she was president of football operations, because Terry is not a press conference guy, like at all.
He just shouldn't speak. I mean, there was no need for him to interrupt Bean so many times. Number one, there was no reason. And further, can I just start over? Hi,
Sure.
everyone. I've had a huge problem this entire week, and not because I've been known as Sean McDermott an apologist, which I really wasn't. I just didn't really want to talk about him getting fired in the middle of the season. But I do want to say that this team has done a horrible job with this from the time it was announced till yesterday and on. Sean McDermott, if let's just say for instance he left on his own, let's say he resigned, retired, whatever you want to call it, he left on his own this year on Monday. That guy should have gotten a send off worthy of the Wall of Fame. And I will say that too. He's the second most winningest coach in franchise history. He took us from a joke in the league to relevant and then beyond. I understand why he got fired. I understand that it was time to move on. It's been time to move on for the last 3 or 4 years. But he still got us there. He still got us to a place where we hadn't dreamt of being 10 years ago. And he deserves to be recognized for that. He's been nothing but a staunch Buffalo supporter. Like, he's done a lot for the community. And keep in mind, this is still a man with a family. And to see people openly laughing about him losing his job just makes it just hits me wrong. It's not Bills Mafia. It's not the way we operate. Where are all the donations to Sean's favorite charity?
Yeah,
Oh,
He
they did.
deserves, at least he at
They
least
did do it.
deserves that from Bills Mafia.
They did
Did
do it.
they?
They raised
Okay.
$50,000.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
I
There you go.
just he does deserve his flowers. You're not wrong. He got us out of the dumpster fire that the Bills had been wallowing in. Um, but he had just reached the point where he was at his ceiling, and I'm sorry, but yeah, he did deserve to go, but nobody deserves to be laughed at for something like that. The guy is still a part of Buffalo sports history for basically fixing this team.
And I can only hope that what happened yesterday kind of overshadows the fact that he was so unceremoniously relieved of his duties, but based on just a gut feeling by the owner.
Well, I'm going to be devil's advocate here. Other than me looking like, when he's up there talking, I thought I was watching Joe Biden with his handler trying to guide him through the press conference. It was definitely Terry, please. I'm with you, Paul.
He definitely needs a new handler.
Just do it. I could have. I could have swore I seen Sean kick him in the leg a few times. Like, dude, shut up. Please stop. Okay. But either way, I I don't know how much I believe the whole power thing between McDermott and Bean, just because they both reported to him.
Yeah.
Also, there's been precedent of Terry Pegula getting rid of people who were suspected of doing power plays, i.e., Russ Brandon, i.e., whoever named the position, Pat LaFontaine. You go through the past. There's a plethora of examples where Terry has has fired people because he thought that they were doing some kind of power play.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe him there when he said the way he said what he said. I believe him 100%. He's done it before.
Yeah, I believe that as well. But you gotta figure we haven't heard from him in 6 years. So we've never known how he truly felt about the team. So as we said when we watched the end of that game, we were like, they took this one really hard. Really hard.
Yep.
So if you're the owner, we don't know how you feel. So it tells me the way Terry reacted was he has not been happy for quite a long time. He just hasn't publicly said that to us. We also haven't seen a locker room like that after a playoff loss.
Right.
And if you're the owner who's not there all that often, walked into that locker room and seen your $300 million quarterback crying, you're an old man. He's basically another father figure for Josh.
I do want to just step in real quick, Terrence. He has been there. I've seen him at mostly every post-game locker room speech that Sean McDermott's done for a while. In fact, I can't remember one that he hadn't been at in the last couple of years anyway, since Kim's been more managed, I guess.
Well, I'm talking in terms of not just for the games, but just being there in general. He's not seen very often. He doesn't speak very often. So we've never gauged on how he felt about this team. So you're an older guy. You're trying to get back into the swing of things of overseeing this team, making sure everything's done right. Your wife had a heart attack. Obviously, he has to be able to spend time with his daughter, go to her tennis matches. And you walk in that locker room and you see what we saw. And then you think to yourself, there's a reason why he rattled off those playoff spots. He basically said, we're not going anywhere right now. We're stuck, and I'm tired of seeing it. Now, that's how he should have just did the conference. He should have ended the press conference with that and never said another word.
No.
Yeah. I think we've reached a playoff wall. I don't think we can win with him right now. I want to wish him the best of the luck, but we would like to go in another direction.
I think part of the problem, though, to your point, that's exactly where it should have ended. The problem was everything else, though, right? The problem was everything they said about Keon Coleman, who I mean, he can't be on the roster anymore, right? I mean, you trade him for a bag of hockey pucks at this point. I mean, he can't be on the roster at all. I mean, after you literally had your owner call him out, literally, it was the talking point of the press conference how bad this poor kid got called out. And I get it. He had a bad attitude and he didn't show up for meetings and he had a problem dropping balls, but still, he was your first round wide receiver pick from a year ago. And I mean, he's still on a rookie deal, so there's that. But, I think that the bigger problem I had with it, besides all of the Keon Coleman stuff, was just like, I don't really like any of the mention or any of the stuff that came out about how his conversations with Josh Allen, because it really almost made me feel like Josh Allen was not on board with this at all. And it kind of felt like the owner was throwing him under the bus. And then when the owner started talking about how he thinks the roster is fine, when the roster is not fine, I mean, really, like,
yeah, you're going overboard and trying to blame. You're kind of going overboard and blaming and scapegoating the coach.
Exactly. And like, I heard somebody mention it, and I can't really remember who it is, but can you name the fourth or fifth best player on this team? I mean, can you do that? You can probably name 1, 2, and 3. Can you name the fourth best player on this team? like easily.
Performance-wise?
No, but
It's
can you get to it? Can you get to
it's
who was the
obvious.
four? You know what I mean?
It's
Like
obviously Greg Rousseau.
you'd say Allen, Cook, maybe Dawkins. Where do you go after that? And the point of that was kind of supposed to be you've been here 9 years drafting players. Why like that's it?
Well,
That's it.
here. Let me be devil's advocate again here. We don't know how he's been feeling about this team.
Yeah.
Until now. And your defense, and I've told you this too, Paul, and we've had discussions about this. I hate the personnel that McDermott wants on that field on defense. Because it does not match what he's trying to run. It makes no sense. And this is why their defense fail in the playoffs. This is why their defense can't stop the run. Because he likes undersized interior guys and just tall, lanky guys on the outside. That's all he asked for. But if you're the owner and you just keep giving him money every year because you need more defensive linemen, you need more defensive linemen, you need more defensive, and you're not getting anywhere with it, and he just keeps asking for more. At some point, don't you say, I've been giving you everything you say you need. I've been investing in this defense all this time, and it's got me nothing. And here I am again showing up to a playoff game that we should have won, regardless of the referees. We had an opportunity to put that game away, and we didn't.
What does this tell you, though, about like Brandon Beane, though, and the fact that if all you're going to keep doing is acquiescing to McDermott's defensive demands, at what point should the GM have stepped in and said, we're going to go and do this with other players, though? You know what I mean? Like it almost, to me, it almost made Beane feel kind of spineless too. And to see that get promoted, it concerns me.
Yeah, but at the same time, McDermott never had to go to Beane to do anything. McDermott didn't report to Beane, and I
That's
think
the problem.
if there was that they solved the problem then because they promoted Beane, buck stops there, and now he's going to be in charge of getting a new head coach because I can't have that structure still with Sean McDermott there if I'm the owner. And that's honestly. He should have, if he was going to be honest about it, he should have just said that. Like, listen, I can't have the structure that I think is going to win us a Super Bowl the way it's currently constructed. Sean had to go because, and make it like that. And because the structure, our new structure, we're restructuring and our new structure doesn't work with two chiefs.
I mean, having zero chain of command is like, how does anything get done? That's where a lot of the problem came from. I didn't realize until relatively recently that McDermott didn't report to Beane. And I mean, I can't imagine there's many other teams that are set up like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, the Giants are about to be, but
yeah,
exactly. But the only thing is that if you're obviously we know Terry's not the best speaker in the world.
Right.
He's never been a speaker, never been a camera guy. We all know that. So I expect blunders from him. But it also gives you some more insight. Terry was completely honest about that.
Yeah.
The coaches wanted Keon Coleman. So instead of us being mad about the Keon Coleman, who has not warranted any respect from us,
but you know what though?
Hang on. That tells me nobody was on board for Keon Coleman, but McDermott and their wide receiver coach, who has not produced anything since he's came here, since Chad left. So, in order for you to make change, and I told you, Paul, right? McD would never agree to hand that defense over to somebody else.
But I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying, you don't call out an active roster player like that.
No.
Because what it does is, before yesterday, Keon at least, if we wanted to move on from him, if we wanted to trade him, at least he had the value of, well, he's a second round pick. Well, he's this. He has these qualities and those qualities that you can sell. Now he's got nothing.
Oh no.
Now we hold zero cards with him because any team that we shop around to him with any team is going to be like, we know you guys don't want him.
Yeah,
Why would I give you anything for him? I'm just going to let you drop him. I'm going to let you wave him.
Well,
So now he went from having some value to zero value. That's why it's wrong. I don't care if it's true or not.
They sabotaged him and themselves.
Well, I don't know if you did so much because it's not a surprise that we know they don't want him. Is it? He's been suspended multiple.
But Paul's talking about the value, though. Like he's talking about the value.
His value does not change regardless.
It does change because now we have no.
I think so too.
Not at all. He has nothing.
You're insufferable.
He has nothing. He has nothing of value to begin with.
He did though.
What's his value?
Second round pick. He's only in the year 2 years. Yeah, he has some behavioral issues, but he's young yet. He can mature still. A lot of people think that wide receivers don't mature until their third year.
The fact that he was still young added some value to him still, but the Bills sabotaged anything they possibly could have gotten back by doing what they did.
But you weren't going to get nothing more than a 4 for him.
Well, now they're not going to get a 6. Now they're lucky to get a 6.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to get
a 6. You're not getting
now.
anything.
See, if you're lucky just to get a 6, then you're proving my point. He's not worth anything.
No, you're not though.
I'm proving my point. Because yesterday he was maybe a 4 at best. Now he's 0.
I don't know about
that. Now you're not getting shit from him. You're going to have to give up a draft pick in order to get rid of him now.
I don't know about that.
That's how bad it went.
I think, honestly, what they're going to do with him is they're going to let him play this year and see if they can't, whatever new coach comes in, if he's offensive minded, if they can't reclamate this in any way.
Yeah,
because you still
to do that.
You have to, right, now that you did what you did, and you have to just accept the fact that you got 2 more years on a rookie deal, and then you can let him do whatever he wants. Give him his walking papers then, I mean, go sign with another team or do whatever you want to do. Or prove yourself.
But this was obviously something that's been in Terry's crawl since they drafted.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was. You're absolutely right about that.
First opportunity, and I agree, he should never have said that. But he's not a trained guy to even speak about this stuff.
No.
So this is what the press wanted. They wanted him there because they know he blunders.
They
let him. They let him right to respond to that before being cut because they knew the question. He knew the question they were trying to ask, but weren't trying to ask about it. And that you could just see him boiling.
That's why this press conference went off the rails, because they allowed the questions to let it go off the rails. They shouldn't have taken some of those questions.
No, they could take those. They're reporters. You can answer any question you ask me.
No, I'm not saying they couldn't ask them. I'm saying that they should have been like, we're going to hold this for our actual end of season thing, not when we're talking about the McDermott thing. Yeah, I think by doing it to Terry, it should have been just when Bean had his press conference. Bean shouldn't have allowed Terry to answer these questions.
No, I agree.
I agree with that too. Yeah, it should have been Terry should have said a few words, gave it to Bean, and Terry should have left.
Yes,
but you had the public saying that he's an absentee owner,
and a lot of those.
Hang on. And calling him names,
lots of those,
and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's his first opportunity to speak. He spoke from feeling. That had nothing to do with it. I don't care if they coached him up. He's not used to being hammered like that. He's a billionaire. Nobody does that to him.
Yeah,
he's not a press conference guy.
No, you're not wrong. But and that goes to the larger problem too. That this ownership group and these people in charge just gaslighting everybody into thinking this is a good roster when it's not, right? This is not a good roster. You need help everywhere. You have way too many bloated contracts in your defense. Other than, who Who are we bringing back for wide receiver next year, frankly, other than Shakir? Do you want anybody else? Because I don't want anybody else back.
Well,
Not
I
one
think
person.
Palmer signed what, a 3-year deal, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't. I'd get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of Samuel. Everybody. I want them all gone. And like, I mean, like, what are we? We have no talent. There's no talent on this roster at all. And I don't want to hear the excuse that, oh, well, we signed Josh to a big money contract. We can't bring anybody in. That's bullshit. Josh isn't even the 10th highest paid quarterback in the league. And you've got all these other teams that are able to just have talent all over the place. Jacksonville paid Trevor Lawrence, and everybody thought they were going to steamroll us. Why? Because they've got a better roster than us by a lot. And Trevor Lawrence is making almost as much as Josh. So
They sunk.
how come they can do it and we can't? You know? And there's how many teams out there that are paying a quarterback that can still find a way to get talent on their roster.
I mean, Jacksonville's also drafted a lot better, I think, and
Yeah,
Oh
they
yeah.
and
they've
Yeah.
they've
the
they've got a few rookie contracts there that the Bills don't have the luxury of
No,
having
I mean
because we.
that's just one example though, right? I mean, hell, even
Yeah.
Denver. Denver's paying Russell Wilson $65 million, who's not even playing for them. And they look at their roster.
the Bills sunk too much money, especially on defense, into too many mediocre players. And I mean, there's a couple of them on offense. We all know the terrible Samuel contract, but especially on the defensive side, they sunk too much money on players who are maybe slightly above average, but not much.
Because
I
yeah,
mean,
because they've had too many busts in the draft.
yeah,
Terrence's point,
That's
100%. Terrence
exactly
said this a
why.
thousand times.
But the crazy thing is, we're finding out McD is the one who wants these guys.
yep.
Yeah,
Which comes back to the whole reporting to Pagula thing. If you don't have a GM and a coach who are on the same damn page, this is the shit that happens. Sorry
yeah,
for
it was
pardon my
working. It
language.
was working. It was working fine when they were both on the same page, but something happened
Yeah.
Yep.
3 or 4 years ago where there was
Paul,
definitely shit.
Paul, 13 seconds. What happened?
Yeah.
After
I
that,
don't
that
think it
whole
was that. I think it
organization
was
came.
before that. Honestly, I think it was before that. Honestly.
Well, you had the day ball and the McD thing
Mm-hmm.
going on. But that 13
Right.
seconds, that entire, remember, they even reported like the franchise is like shaken over that game.
Yeah. I mean, it became our identity, right? Like, I
Yeah.
Yep.
mean, they talked about, we were the wide right city, then we're the no goal city.
Music
And I
City.
mean, Music City Miracle and 13 seconds. You listen to anybody. And I mean, I'm a glutton for watching Nick Wright almost every day. And I mean, dude talk anytime they talk about the Bills, always brings up that 13-second game. Always. I mean, I know he's a Kansas City homer, but he's not the
Yeah.
only one. They all do it. They all bring up that 13 seconds game.
Oh
That's our
yeah,
identity. That's our
right,
identity now.
and every caller on GR, whenever they wanted a caller came in wanting to talk about firing McDermott, that would be the first words out of their mouth after saying the initial statement. Somebody would ask why, and he would say the first thing out of their mouth would be 13 seconds.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I mean, from this point going forward, I'd expect Bean to probably, he'll play the GM this year. The next year, he'll probably roll over to somebody else, and he'll just be the president.
Yeah.
That's probably what his
I'm
point is.
I would
I'm real
imagine so
curious.
too.
I'm real curious to see where they go from here. I mean, obviously this press conference didn't make them look the best, but I this is a fresh start, I guess. So I guess we'll have to see what happens.
Well,
I gotta bounce, but I gotta bounce, but I do want to bring up one thing that
sure.
has been bugging me since this conference, since really even before the conference, is Josh. How is Josh feeling about all this? I know we're never really gonna know because he's not gonna speak again until May when OTAs start. But he's gonna be asked questions about it. We're gonna get coach speak out of
Josh will be
him
there when they
as far as.
introduce the new coach. He'll be
Yeah,
there
he
when they
said that.
introduce the new
He said
coach.
that.
So, but this is the thing. This is the thing. During that press conference yesterday, I noticed a few things that nobody's really picking up on. When Terry Pagula was describing the locker room, he didn't have mention Josh by name. He said, "I have my star quarterback over there weeping." I walked over to him. He did not acknowledge me. Then he was asked a question a little bit later on in the interview or conference. He was asked about Josh specifically, and he said the starting quarterback. He didn't say his name. He said his name a couple times during the conference, but when he was asked specific questions or giving specific information about what's happening, he did not mention Josh by name, and he did not, and he made it a point to say Josh did not acknowledge me. I understand that Josh was like in tears and in no shape to talk to anybody at the time, but and understandably so, he was robbed. And I'm just wondering now what is the dynamic, because it seemed to me like Terry was taking a shot.
I mean, you got to be real careful with that.
How dare you not acknowledge me? Almost like kind of like that. Now I'll see what happens. Okay, so he's making these statements.
I'm not gonna let you get away with that, Paul.
What's Josh? What's to stop Josh from now saying?
I'm not gonna let you get away with that.
I want to trade.
That is so far.
I'm not gonna win here. I'm not gonna win here. I want to trade, but it could be the start of it. It could be the start of it, Reese.
I think you're.
I don't even want to think about that.
Nobody does, and that's why nobody's saying anything about it.
No, I think
it has to be acknowledged. I think it has to be acknowledged.
He's saying as if it's his. It's his possession. It's my quarterback, my guy, my star quarterback.
He's not saying that though. He didn't say that though. He didn't say it like that. I implore you to watch the press conference again and pay specific attention.
Not anymore.
Pay specific attention on how he talks about Josh. So that's I'm worried about that, and I'm actually terrified about that, and I'm terrified that that's actually might be what's going on.
I mean, it's a big. If that is true, they're idiots, and that's a big problem, right? Because I don't care what you guys say. I know you guys have argued with me this point before. You take Josh Allen off this roster, this is a 4-win team.
I agree.
It's not a 7-win team or an 8-win team. This is a 4-win team. And then Terry Pagula can shove it up his ass with this roster is good comment. Because you take Josh Allen off this team, it's like taking Tom Brady off of some of those Patriots teams in the 2000s. Like, are you kidding me? You know how many mistakes that dude covered up for? And how many blunders from Belichick, who, please don't let him be our next coach? Like, are you kidding me right now?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's going to be awfully hard to go through the next 5 or 6 months, not hearing from him really officially anyway. And maybe you might start to, I don't know, man. I would have been kind of rubbed the wrong way yesterday if I were Josh.
That's fair.
And also, the very final thing is, if Josh was on board with everything, they would have just said that. Terry would have just said, "Yeah, he's on board with everything. He's moving along. He's moving on, just like I am, just like everyone has to." No, he didn't say that. I'm going to keep
believe that anyway, though.
I'm going to keep my conversation and Josh's thoughts private at this point. Is a big red flag to me.
Well, I mean, let's not forget they fired him without his knowledge of it. Let's be honest here. He's not going to want to talk to him. Not at that point. But at some point, Josh is going to have to understand that something had to change. That's the way Josh works.
I think Josh is a professional enough to know that this kind of shit happens.
I'm not saying he's that pissed, but he might have been a little miffed at first, and then yesterday did not help.
Oh no, I agree with that.
I also don't think I want my.
It also gave us some really good insight.
I also I'm not sure that I want my. I mean, I don't think he's going to leave. They're giving him $300 million. Like, I don't think he's going to leave. But also at the same time, maybe to Reese's point about playing devil's advocate, I don't want my quarterback to be a pissy little baby either. Like, this is a business, and like, and we've said this on this channel before. Josh doesn't need the money anymore. His wife makes more than him. He's got a million commercials out there. He's involved in a million things right there. And he has come out and said on numerous podcasts, this is about legacy for him. So the real easy way for you to sell this to Josh Allen is, hey, we're going to go and get Clint Kubiak and Davis Webb, and your defensive coordinator is going to be Flores or something like that. I think he might have signed, but still, we're going to get this all-star coaching staff together, and you're going to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
That I mean, winning will fix everything. If
I
they
know,
make it,
I get it, but I'm not. I suddenly have no confidence that the people in charge are going to say that, do that, any of it.
that's
They
fair.
are on a prove it deal to me, all of them, every single one of them. And
I
I've
agree.
been a huge Bean supporter
Well-
since almost day one, and he has lost all his capital with me.
That's fair.
I think he's on the hot seat myself. So if they don't do it this year, I feel like Bean has used up his goodwill.
Well, let's not absolve Josh of any of this, because sometimes we look over him and how he plays into this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he clearly isn't either. At least his public face isn't.
Now, my point is that he has to get over it. And simply put, he obviously had input on some of these draft picks. We all know that. So he has to take blame too. He has to say, I failed Sean. Because that's what happened in that game. It wasn't nobody else.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want. I mean, Josh is the reason we lost. 4 turnovers. I mean,
Sean is too. Sean is
that
too,
last
though.
one.
I mean,
That last one was rough, but like the other 3, it just hell. You take away one of those turnovers, that ridiculous one at the end of the first half. You take that away, and we win. So we're not having this conversation.
I think honestly that was why those two were so emotional after the game, was because, and that why they were being aggressive at the end of the second half. Why they were making certain decisions that they were making. It was because they both knew that Sean was going to get fired if he didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yep. I think Josh knew. I think that's why he was so emotional. I think he knew.
You really think so? You really think that because then doesn't that kind of take us back to that this wasn't a power play?
If it wasn't, I'm telling you, if it wasn't directly stated by Terry Pegula in private meetings with them before, it was certainly implied.
But then that takes away your power play argument though a little bit, doesn't it? Because that's kind of like Bean and Terry being like, "Look, if you don't do this,
no,
like
I'm not saying
you're out the job."
I'm not saying Bean had anything to do with that.
Oh, okay.
Terry talks off the cuff a lot. And he clearly does it in the press conferences. You could definitely bet that he does it in closed door meetings and in meetings, in staff meetings. I'm sure he's an asshole. He seems like it.
Yeah.
But usually those assholes are the ones that become billionaires and get to buy NFL teams. You got to be a little bit of an asshole to get to that spot, get to that point in your life. You're not all, sunshine and roses. You got to be a prick in order to do that.
Yeah.
And there's no way around it. You have to be able to talk to people in a stern but like a voice like that, and you have to be direct with people because these people get emotional. These employees, they get emotional.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think a majority of this has everything to do with how much they put into that defense and haven't got anything out of it. And when you hear that he was arguing about the roster, and like I said, if you're, Pegula, you're like, what else do you want me to do? What else? I paid for 2 two
So
possible Hall of Famers at defensive end for you as well and overpaid them. And you still gave me the same results.
Yep.
I mean, I am mad about the defense, but I gotta be honest with you, Reese. Like this year, you can't blame the defense. The defense did what they needed to do. They got you. You know what? You got made it to over. No, 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 no. You made it to overtime. Defense made a stop. Your offense couldn't get into field goal range. I mean, I don't blame the defense at all for the Denver game. 13 points off turnovers.
No,
The
I'm
defense
talking
did
about
fine. The defense
I'm talking
allowed
about going back.
17 points.
I'm talking about going back to the conversation that they said they
Oh
had
yeah, 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 yeah.
about
No,
arguing
I'm
about the
with you there.
roster.
I'm
And
with you there. But
and like I said, during that conversation, I've given you hundreds of $1 millions to pay for people in that defense.
You don't have that money.
And you're still telling me nothing's good enough. We paid for these guys this year. None of them made the field.
Nope. But
yeah.
I
So
have to
we're
head out,
done.
guys. So
All right, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
yep.
But that was also my issue I've always had is I've said they spend too much on defense. And I think this last draft was Sean's last hurrah. You know what, Sean? You need defense? Every one of our picks are going to be defense. Just about. Here. These are the guys you wanted. And we got nothing out of any of it.
Yeah, B might have said, yeah, and I'll go on GR and take the heat for not drafting a wide receiver.
Yeah. I can't believe they brought that up. Like, I literally cannot believe you brought that up. And then he brought up the thing about the 9/11 article, too. Like, oh my God. What a disaster.
Yeah. It was a disaster.
Like,
but I mean, all we can do right now is hope.
That's it. And I mean, you know what? Like right now, they've said that Joe Brady interviewed for the job, Lou Anarumo interviewed for the job, Brian Dable interviewed for the job. Anthony Lynn is going to interview for the job, and I got to imagine they're going to be waiting on some of these guys that are playing this weekend, right? Yeah. I know they're going
to slow down dramatically till this happens.
Yeah, I mean they want to talk to Clint Kubiak. I mean, and frankly, if I had my way, Clint Kubiak should be the next coach, right? Like 100%. That's who I want. But I have a feeling it's going to be
modern, someone young, modern. Yeah. And the big plus with if you get an offensive head coach, it don't matter who the OC is.
Exactly. Yeah.
They gotta, but I know. I mean, they're gonna go with Dable.
I think so too. I feel like it's a very Bills thing to do. They're gonna go with Dable. But I'd love it.
He's from the area. He went to St. Francis. This is going to be something that they could sell to Bills Mafia. And because you remember, they're still selling the Bills to Bills Mafia. And they have to sell whatever pick they make to that. That's got to be factored in. And that's not that I like that, but that's just facts and reality.
Yep. No, it's true. I'm just saying, I mean, honestly, like my fantasy wish, right, I mean, my realistic fantasy wish is Kubiak. My off the wall fantasy wish is they trade for Shanahan. Just straight up send our first round pick to San Francisco for Shanahan. I would do that in a second. I mean, did you see? I mean, you want to talk about what somebody did with injuries? That dude should win Coach of the Year, over anybody else for what that dude did with that 49ers team.
And we all know it's going to Vrabel.
Maybe it might not. It might go to the guy from the Bears.
I
think it's going to go to Vrabel. It's the Patriots.
Hey, maybe Josh wins MVP this year, and that
wouldn't that be funny?
Settles everybody. That'll settle everybody down a little bit.
So long as it's not Drake May, I don't really care. I think it's going to be Stafford.
It has to be Stafford.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Well, anything else before we vote? I think it's happening real soon, but they announced it on February 5th.
Yeah.
So, anything else we want to say before we wrap it up, guys?
No, let's see where this goes from here.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. We'll have some more reactions for you guys when we indeed get a new coach. And we're also probably get on here and we'll break down the conference championship game and have a long venting session about the Patriots making it to a Super Bowl before we did. So with that, I've been Mike,
I
joined Mr. Paulie B and Mr. T. Reese. Fellas, have a great evening and take care.